Good morning, students. Welcome back after a short break. I hope you are doing well at home. Today, let us start our third chapter, The Seed of Truth. This story is about two main characters. First is a king named Vidyadhara. He ruled a place named Gandhara. The second one is Pingala. He is a small boy and a farmer's son. Come to page number 33. Let us start the story. Long ago, Gandhara was ruled by a just and good king, Vidyadhara. His subjects were very happy. But as the king grew older, everyone got more and more worried. The king did not have any children who could take over the reins of the kingdom after him. Now, the first paragraph tells us that Gandhara, it's a name of a place, it's ruled by a very good and a very fair king whose name was Vidyadhara. His subjects means the people who live in his kingdom. They were very happy living in that kingdom, but now the king is growing old and he does not have any child after him to rule his kingdom if he dies. So everyone was getting worried that who will be the next person to rule over the kingdom. The king was an avid gardener. He spent a lot of time tending his garden, planting the finest flowers, fruit trees, and vegetables. One day, after he finished working in the garden, he proclaimed, I will distribute some seeds to all of the children in the kingdom. The one who grows the biggest, healthiest plant within 3 months will become the prince or the princess. The king was an avid gardener. Avid means a very expert gardener. He loved gardening. And then one day he was busy with his flowers, fruit trees, vegetables in his garden. And then he announced, just after that, he made an announcement. Proclaimed means making an announcement that he will be distributing some seeds among the children in his kingdom. And the one who will grow the biggest plant out of it and the healthiest one within a period of 3 months will become the prince or the princess. Okay. The next day, there was a long line of anxious parents and children outside the palace. Everyone was eager to get a seed and grow the best plant. Now, the very next day, anxious parents means excited, worried. They were worried that their child should become the prince or the princess of that kingdom. Okay, they took it as a chance to become a prince. So everyone was eager, interested, excited to take a seed from the king and grow it. Pingala, a poor farmer's son, was among these children. Like the king, he too was fond of gardening and grew beautiful plants in his backyard. He took the seed from the king and planted it in a pot with great care. Now, Pingala, he was a poor farmer's son, as I have told you in the beginning, that he was a small child, almost of your age. He was a poor farmer's son. He also came over there. He was very fond of gardening. Fond of gardening means he was very interested in gardening. He used to grow plants in his backyard at the backside of his house. So he took a seed from the king and planted it in a pot with great love and care. Some weeks passed and he plied it with water and manure, but the plant did not appear. Pingala tried changing the soil and transferred the seed to another pot, but even by the end of 3 months, nothing appeared. Now, for some weeks he plied. Plied means give a lot of care and water and manure. Manure means खाद. खाद जो plant को देते हैं. Here the meaning is written, the waste matter of animals or plants used to enrich the soil or to increase the quality of the soil. So he gave a lot of water and manure to the plant, okay, but the plant did not come up. Nothing was coming out of that seed which he took from the king. He tried changing the soil. He even changed the soil that a good quality. He used a good quality soil, transferred the seed to another pot. But even at the end of 3 months, nothing could be seen. Okay, he tried everything that he could do, but the plant would not come up. At last, the day came when all the children had to go to the king to show the plant they had grown. They started walking to the palace, dressed in their best, holding beautiful plants in their hands. Only Pingala stood sadly watching them go by. Now, finally, after 3 months, there was the day came up on which all the children had to go to the king to show their plant. Okay, what they have grown out of the seed, they had to show that. All the children came up dressed in their best, means dressed in their best clothes, and holding beautiful pots in their hands with beautiful flowers. Okay, but Pingala was very sad as he could not grow up anything from that seed. Pingala's father had watched his son working hard with the seed and felt sorry for him. Pingala's father also felt very sorry because he couldn't do anything for him. Okay, he knew that Pingala has worked very hard, but nothing was coming out of it. He said, "Why don't you go to the king with the empty pot?" he suggested. "At least he will know you tried your best." Okay, a very honest advice was given by the father to Pingala that you must go to the king with the empty pot and tell him honestly that you could not grow anything, although you tried your best. So Pingala too wore his best clothes and joined the others outside the palace, holding his empty pot in his hand and ignoring the laughter around him. All the other children started laughing at Pingala as he came with an empty pot. Soon the king arrived and began his inspection. The pots held flowers of different shades, beautiful and healthy, but the king did not look happy. At the end of the line stood Pingala, and when the king reached him, he stopped in surprise. Now, inspection means checking. Okay, he started checking all the pots held by all the children who came up there. The pots were having different colors, flowers, very beautiful, and the plants were very healthy. But the king was upset. The king was not happy. At the end of the line, he found Pingala standing there with an empty pot. The king was quite surprised to see an empty pot. "Child, why have you come with an empty pot? Could you not grow anything?" Now the king asked a question from Pingala, that why have you come there with an empty pot? Couldn't you grow up anything in that pot? See the picture over there. The king is inspecting the pots of every child. But at the end of the line, on the other side, we can see that Pingala is very upset. He is standing with an empty pot. So the king asked him that why have you come there with an empty pot? Why couldn't you grow anything in that pot? Come to the next page. Pingala looked down and said, "Forgive me, Your Highness. I tried my best. I gave it the best soil and manure I had, but the plant would not grow." Now, Pingala admitted in front of the king that "Forgive me, Your Highness" means "Maaf kar dijiye mujhe, O king. I tried my best." He has tried his best to give the best soil and the manure, but still he could not grow up any plant. Now the king's face broke into a smile. He enveloped Pingala in his arms and announced. Now, the king was very happy to see Pingala. He enveloped Pingala means gale laga liya, hugged, embraced, gale laga liya Pingala ko, and made an announcement. Now, can you even guess that why the king was so happy to look at Pingala with an empty pot? And why he enveloped Pingala in his arms? We will get to know about it in the announcement of the king. "Here is the crown prince. I had given everyone roasted seeds." Roasted seeds means kharab seeds, basi. Okay, which would never grow, just to see which child was the most honest one and would admit he or she had not been able to grow anything. The king announced Pingala to be the prince. Why? Because he even tells us the reason behind it. He says that he has given roasted seeds, kharab seeds, to all of the children, to the children who came up to take the seeds. And he wanted to test that which particular child will come up with an honest answer that he could not grow up any plant out of that seed. So, who was that honest boy? Yes, we know that. Pingala was the honest boy. Only this boy told the truth. Now the king says, yes, Pingala told the truth. I am sure he will rule this kingdom one day with truth and honesty. And the king says, this is the best boy. This is the best child in the kingdom who would later rule the kingdom with truth and honesty. And indeed, that was what happened. When the king grew old and died, Pingala, who had learnt everything from him, came to the throne and ruled Gandhara justly for many years. And this is what happened at the end of the story. What happened? After a few years, when king grew old and he died, Pingala became the king of the place. And what is the name of that place? Gandhara, right? We have read about the place at the beginning of the chapter. And he took the throne, he became the king of that place and ruled that place justly. Justly means बहुत ही ईमानदारी से, very honestly, very fairly for many, many years. So, what did we get to know? That honesty is very important in our life, right? You can achieve anything in your life only with the help of your truth and honesty. Last but not the least, you need to remember the name of the author of this story, Sudha Murthy. Do underline Sudha Murthy. Okay? I hope you have understood this chapter. Practice reading the chapter at home as I have read. Listen to this audio. Watch this video again and again so that you are clear what actually the story is all about. Thank you.